Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to the program Islam Explained. We are answering your questions that have been put forward by yourselves. Now, we'll get straight into it. Thank you for being here, Omar. The first question is that has been put forward by another viewer of ours is, if God already knows who will go to heaven and hell, why does he put us through this test on earth?
Yeah, this is an interesting theological question, we can say philosophical question as well, I said. Now, of course, God is omniscient. He's all-knowing. He knows the past, present, and future. He already knows who will go to heaven or who will go to hell. That's correct. He knows what will happen on the day of judgment as well. Mm-hmm. But think of a scenario where there is judgment without testing. So there's no life on earth, and there's directly judgment. And on that day, on the day of judgment, God, for example, pulls a person to the corner and says, look, because if I created you on earth, you would have committed these sins, you would have become a disbeliever or whatever. So for this reason, I am putting you in hell. What would that person reply? What would that person respond?
So you haven't given me that chance.
Yes, they would obviously say, look, your justice, you're the all just. Your justice requires that you give me a chance to prove myself. God knows, but the reality is we do not know ourselves.
Yeah.
So we are actually being tested in this world so that we recognize and learn about ourselves also. And on the day of judgment, we will have no excuses. And people who are rewarded with eternal bliss, eternal life in heaven, they would know why they are there. And people who are being punished for example, atrocities, genocide, killings, all of these things, they will know the reason of their punishment too, and that would be just. If I use one analogy for this as well, maybe it'll make it more comprehensible. You know, there's a scenario with a teacher. Think about a teacher at a school. A good teacher would know which student will be successful at the end of the year and which student will fail. Because of this knowledge, if a teacher said, look, we don't need to go through all this studying, all this, full year, I will just give you your marks and then give, for example, 100 out of 100 to the who he thinks that will be successful, to the student.
Yeah.
And then goes to the other student, you would have failed anyway, so I'm giving you 0. What would the other student say,
You haven't tested me.
You haven't tested me. You didn't give me that chance. Maybe I would have tried hard. Maybe I would have studied. Maybe I would have worked. Maybe I would have achieved a good result. This is unfair. This is not justice, that student would say. And the other student, although he or she wouldn't complain, but what did I do to deserve this? Why did I get 100? I didn't even submit any work. I didn't pass any exam. Although they wouldn't complain, but that's the reality. Justice requires that we are put through this test so that we learn about ourselves, our true identity.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yes, and God is just. God is just.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you. Thank you to our listeners again. And if you have any questions, please do write to us on the email provided below. Thank you and see you next time.